I want to tell you a story. When I was in grade school, I walked to and from school. And had to pass a dog locked in a kennel next door to our house. Every morning and every afternoon. That dog was never taken out of the kennel. He cried and he begged. And he got skinnier and skinnier. I knew the owner. Her name was Sonneman. Was it Steve Sonneman who left her? Who was into drugs a lot, like distributing. That previous summer, she had a couple dogs. This one was a big black lab. The other one, I think, was different. She used to beat them. She'd get mad and fly into a rage and beat her dogs. And one summer it was really, really hot. And the dogs were suffering. And she started spraying one of them down with, ice cold groundwater, hose water. And it ended up dying. And we were told that it died from overheating and then the shock of that cold water. But I don't know that that's why it died. But so then there was one. And I told my parents that it wasn't being fed. And it cried in agony. I think I was in maybe 3rd grade, I don't know, 4th grade. And food was already an issue. I mean, it always had been. And I snuck lunch meat and hot dogs to that dog. Even though Mom and Dad said to mind my own business. It wasn't our dog. They were friends. They were our next door neighbors. And nobody cared. And I talked to Scott about it. And we snuck him some food. And we got, I don't know if Scott told on me, but somehow I was in trouble for trying to feed that dog. Because, I mean, I snuck food for myself. So it was scary to sneak food to the dog because my father was violent and psychotic. So it was very scary. That poor dog was locked in that kennel. And the adults I went to, nobody cared. Nobody wanted to help. Nobody wanted to get involved. Nobody wanted to say anything. They were just letting that dog suffer. I mean, this had already been years and years of my life suffering and not being free to... I couldn't find out for myself either. And one day I came home from school and the dog didn't make any noise. I could see it was dead. And its body was it was like bones. The biggest thing on the body was the head, because of the skull. The head was way too big for the body, because the body was just bones and fur. And I don't talk to, if I say mom and dad, I rarely ever talk to dad. I told mom that the dog was dead. It starved to death. It had been starved to death on purpose. So that's when mom and dad that's when they thought, well, something needed to be called in after the dog was dead. I don't remember which one. It was probably dad called the police to report it. And then mom and dad left so that I had to talk to the police officer. And it was a woman. She came out and she was sickened at what she saw. And she was angry. And she looked at me and she said, Why didn't someone do something? And I looked at her thinking, I tried. Nobody cared. Nobody would listen to me, but I didn't tell her that because I knew that I had to handle this so that nobody got in trouble. That's why Mom and Dad left and left me to do it. But when I saw her, I was like, God, I was right. This was so wrong. And now I'm having to answer for other people's fucking wrongdoings. And try to make some kind of fucking excuse for them. I told the officer I didn't know I could call. I didn't know. My parents and neighbors, nobody said that was an option. I didn't know. Doing something like that would have got me in trouble. And in trouble, I mean, I was always, I've never not been in trouble. It was, it was like I think back, I mean, like a morbid curiosity to see how long that dog would survive. And then just forgetting about it and not giving a shit. And see, and I don't remember if it was before or after. But Scott wanted salamanders, so he had this aquarium next to his bed. On a shelf right next to his bed, right next to the head of his bed. And he starved those salamanders, starved them. And I kept telling Mom, he's not feeding them. Mom, can you feed them? And Mom didn't want to get involved because, like, Mom, because Scott was like a boy and Dad would defend Scott. And I tried to sneak in and feed them many, many times. And they were getting to where you could just see all the ribs in them. And Scott laid there at night, every night with them, starving to death right next to his head. Until they died. We had a fish aquarium and I fed those fish. I never saw really anyone feed them. Saw Mom and Dad clean out the tank a few times. Nobody fucking gave a shit about suffering. And it's like conditioning, and that's why nobody ever gave a shit about me suffering. I snuck food and I was skinny. And even when my brother like turned 20 and he had a dog, again, I talked to Mom several times. I was so afraid he wasn't feeding that dog because we just left it out in the kennel. This is when he had his own house. He did not love that dog. He did not take care of that dog. I don't know what happened to that dog. But it was like a weird control thing. to like make things suffer that he learned from my dad. It's like when I came home from school one day. Second grade, and I saw my dad out skinning my pet rabbits and then fed them to us for dinner. He didn't fucking give a shit how that affected me. They know it's wrong, but they do it anyway. So making me suffer out here in the desert for years is just, it's just seeing me lose so much weight and be tested for possible stroke and going blind in my left eye. It's like a morbid fucking curiosity to see how long I'll survive without any help. I always wanted to do the right thing, and then I always got punished for it. And then I was powerless to do anything about it. And now this time I tried saving myself. And I'm punished for it. It's like I was marked as just one of those inconsequential things, not of equal value. And if I survived, fine, and if I didn't, who the fuck cares? Since I was little. That is what has made me so independent, and why I never asked for help, because I would regret it. They would make me pay dearly. So I've always been in trouble for not going along with the program and thinking that all the fucked up things they do is okay. My dad's dad is one of those people that used to I don't know if he did it multiple times, but put a litter of kittens in a potato sack burlap bag, put some rocks, and just threw it in a pond just to fucking kill them. And I was told these stories like it was okay, and that's just the way it is. And me being treated badly was not wrong. It's just the way it is. And I had an issue. I was the problem for having an issue with it. I was blamed for not being a happy kid. and not being free to just run and play. I was afraid to make a move. Children were to be seen and not heard. I wasn't supposed to act like a kid ever. I was never free to act like a kid. And so then when my dad locked me up, him and my mom tried telling the psychiatrist there was something wrong with me because even as a kid, I didn't like play. I wasn't happy. I'm blamed for being beaten and abused and neglected and treated like shit. And I was blamed for not being a normal, happy kid. It's sick. It's sick. It's so fucking sick. And my mother, yesterday I just read a message my mother sent me, basically telling me how I am not special and I don't deserve help or support or kindness or care. Just like always. All the time she turned her back on me when I went to her for help when Dad was beating me or lying or setting me up or punishing me for things I didn't do to cover up what he fucking had done. And all she would do is just run to Dad, tell him I was talking, because I thought, when I was younger, because she would pinky promise, and say she loved me and say she wouldn't, talk to Dad, and she would write to Dad and make it 1,000 times worse. And so then I was punished more for even talking. I've had nightmares for years, like, of having left my home or my place and been gone and then come back and realize I'd forgotten there was an aquarium of fish. And there'd only be like 1 or 2 left. It would just be green and the water would be low. Like, I don't know what happened when I got sent away. Like, who took care of who took care of anything after I left? After I was locked up? But I also have dreams of forgetting, like, I had kittens in the trunk of my car. And by the time I find them, I'm horrified with myself for having forgotten, and they had been suffering and, locked up and starving and some of that, I think, is me being locked up in the dark and starving for, like, any kind of love or compassion or rescue or care. I'm 52 years old, who, having given everything I had to try to help my dad's best friend's stepson and that stepson's mother, who was dying of cancer and who had all set me up because they knew I had no value. I had home, I had money, and I didn't deserve it, even though I worked for all of it and earned all of it by myself. Despite my fucking father's smear campaign that never fucking ended. telling all of his friends and coworkers and my family constantly, my whole fucking life, terrible things. The fact that my business succeeded, it took years, but no help from him, no, despite his efforts to make me fucking fail. And that's one of the things that they hate me for, and why they say with such contempt, oh, don't worry about Tracy, she'll be fine, she'll figure out a way. Because they don't want to admit what they've been doing to me. They don't want anyone fucking worrying or looking too closely or learning the fucking facts. And they sat there and helped Jay and spun him up telling the same shit they've been saying forever. Knowing that Jay wanted to murder me, and Jay was calling the FBI, and Jay was trying to... I mean, my fucking family had already called the police too, like trying to say, oh, I wanted to kill my dad. I'm not the fucking murderer. I'm the one that... Fuck... God. Because I watched my dad bully my mom, threaten my mom, choke my mom. I watched him beat my brother. Watched him beat me. And because I knew he was wrong, I have been made to suffer my whole fucking life. Be without a mom, be without family. They all act like they're fucking perfect. They know they're not. I think about that starving dog a lot. I'm right there in the same boat. I've begged for them to help me, just like that dog begged. Begged to be saved. Begged my mom to listen and quit lying and quit going along with what Dad is saying. And she won't. I thought as an adult my father wouldn't be able to do this to me again. You know how many times he's pulled the rug out from under my feet and just helped fucking destroy everything I had? He's only attacked. He's never protected. He's only attacked. I just wanted to be included in my family. I just wanted some bit of family.